It's no doubt that transforming a masterpiece transformer can be a challenge. There's no doubt that it's pretty complicated. But have you ever felt really smart because you figured one out on your own? Well, have you ever thought about, well, how really smart the people are that design these things and that bring these off the screen? They look like they walked right off the screen. Today I want to talk to you about the most clever thing that designers or the creators of the third-party figures do, and that is third-party naming convention. So obviously there'd be some legal problems if the third-party world was naming their figures like, say, Fans Toys' version of Galvatron. So they come up with alternate names, and those alternate names, some are just really straightforward and boring, and some are downright clever. So we're going to real quick start, and I want to talk about some Fans Toys names. First one I want to talk about is Fans Toys' version of Galvatron. And Fans Toys' version of Galvatron, they call him Sovereign. Let's see how well that name fits. Possesses supreme or ultimate power. Okay, I guess that works for Galvatron. Let's move to the next one. Okay, let's see. How about Hydra? Okay, so Hydra in Greek legend is a gigantic water snake-like monster with 9 heads, or the number varies, one of which was immortal. So he takes on 6 forms. Actually, he has a special 7th form, so that kind of works. Okay. How about Quietus? Okay, Quietus is death, or something that causes death, regarded as a release from life, something that has a calming or soothing effect. So he's either going to kill you, or he's going to calm you down one way or another. Alright, so we have Terminus Giganticus. So what about Terminus? What does that mean? Well, definition is either the end of transportation line or travel route, or the station. So what does Giganticus actually mean? So it's gigantic to the most extreme, to the Maximus. I guess that actually fits him very well, doesn't it? Next one I actually think is pretty clever, and it's Phoenix. Now, of course, we've all kind of know Phoenix is related to some sort of a bird, but the actual definition is a long-lived bird that cyclically regenerates or is otherwise born again. Associated with the sun, Phoenix obtains new life by rising from the ashes of its predecessor. You know, it's really interesting how when you think about this, it really works in multiple ways because he transforms into a plane, right? But he's also Jetfire and Skyfire at the exact same time, right? Pretty cool. Let's talk a little bit about XTransBox now. Now, they named their Neptune, which obviously was the 8th and most distant planet in our solar system. Wait, no. We know that it's not that. Neptune was the name of the ancient Romans gave to the Greek god of the sea and earthquakes. I guess that's very fitting for this figure. What do you guys think? So let's get into some more clever XTransBox names. Y'all remember this figure, Apollyon. Apollyon is the Greek name for Abaddon, the spiritual being or place named as the Destroyer, or place of destruction. Pretty interesting. But you know what? The other interesting part is Abaddon is the name that they gave their Galvatron that they never made, that they never put out. So that in itself is very clever. You know what, Keith, you're showing off right there, right? So next, let's talk about Aegis. This is Trailbreaker right here, and it's listed as an attribute of Zeus and Athena, or other Roman counterparts to Jupiter, Minerva. Minerva, usually represented as a goat skin shield. So he's a protector of Zeus and Athena. Very interesting. Doesn't he have a force shield himself? And this is goat skin shield? Pretty interesting stuff. If I didn't dig so deep, I never would have made that correlation. If you hear the name Arcos, what you see a lot of that when you look that up is, well, you get definitions like commonly a current deposited sandstone of continental origin, occurring as a thick whatever. Anyway, if you dig a little bit deeper, it's got roots in the Greek archaeos, which is ancient and primitive. I hope I said that one right. But very interesting that they dug that deep, and that would almost suit this figure very well. So Good job, XTransBox. I want to give you a pat on the back, but did you forget that you're making Transformers and not Star Wars figures with your Klaatu and your Barada? I guess they got to get one more color out so they can have Nikto. Let's take a quick look at Planet X and in their naming convention here. So they have this Cadmus, and it's pronounced Cadmus, even though they spell it Cadmos. And Cadmus is a prince who killed a dragon and sowed its teeth, from which sprang up an army of men who fought one another until only 5 survived. But who could that dragon be? None other than Ismenios, Deathsaurus. It's very interesting how they came up with these names, and they sort of match these characters in a way. Let's talk a little bit about Zeta. So Zeta calls their Superion Kronos, right? So Kronos is the god of time, the father of Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Hestia, Demeter, and Hera. Oh, okay, so I got those wrong. That's interesting, but the truth is they really didn't go find the meaning there. Yeah, Zeta copied Dakatoy's Kronos. Before they got clever with their repaint names and calling them Bruticon and stuff, they did call Armageddon. Armageddon is a prophesied location of the gathering of armies for a battle during the end times, variously interpreted as either a literal or symbolic location in term, also a generic sense, end of the world scenario. Hey, does that fit? Bruticus. Since we're talking about Zeta, let's talk a little bit about Toy World. Toy World has a figure they called Hegemon. That was one of the early ones. Hegemon stands for a leading or major power. Hey, I guess that fits Megatron. Now, Toy World, most of their names are pretty straightforward. They make sense. But I start to wonder if they have the XTransBox issue where they're getting confused whether they're making a Star Wars figure or a Transformer. With their Leia RC. Now, DX9 has a couple of interesting names. They named their Omega Supreme Gabriel, which, well, we kind of know as an archangel, but it was interesting that they went that route with the wings that he has. Kind of looks like an angel. DX9 also has another interesting one that I found, and it's Richthofen. Richthofen is the surname of a prominent German aristocratic family, and most famous for the Red Baron. Does that match his figure right? But going from Gewalt, here we are with the translation from the German Gewalt. It means a strong or violent force, or a force of nature, or violence, physical control over power. I guess that would explain why he was so big. You know, I really thought I had the Chigger down. I thought it was like a chugga train, but I heard it wasn't that. It was named after something else, and I can't remember. But anyway, I can't find it anywhere. Interesting name, and yeah, thank you DX9 for stumping me on this one. So MMC has their own naming conventions that they use, and they use azalea a lot. A lot. Well, we know azalea is a flower, so that's great. What about a sphinx? Yeah, we've all seen a sphinx before. Sphinx, a mythical creature with the head of a human and the body of a lion. In Greek tradition, the sphinx has the head of a woman and the haunches of a lion and the wings of a bird. Anyway, we know what a sphinx looks like. How does that really translate to this guy? Well, he is a mythical creature, right? He disappears. So what does Saltus mean? What is the MMC Saltus? Well, it is a break of continuity, or specifically an omission of a necessary step of a proof in logic. Can that be the fact that he is a triple changer? Very interesting. Or at least it's a very, very far stretch. So I'm going to go old school on you and show you a couple eye gear. This is called their Bushwhacker. I just thought it was a funny name. They were just playing around with their Dune Raker with their Dune Buggy. But of course their best one was Shafter. That was a TF Con exclusive, right? Now, we've talked about several different companies and several different names and all of this stuff. I want to point out that we didn't throw out the obvious. Like, we could tell who's Dracula. Well, we know Dracula, blood-sucking bat over here, makes a lot of sense, right? We didn't talk about all the pop culture references they make, like with Fans Toys and their Maverick and their Goose, which is an obvious homage to the Top Gun movie. Or DX9 with their Montana and their Capone, which is obvious mobster references for their entire Minosaur line. And we didn't go down the rabbit hole that is Legends, so just with the New Age and the Agamemnon and the Lucifer and, well, all of the names of all the Seekers. We could go into all of that maybe another time. So let me know what you think about going down through the third-party naming convention and talking about where they derive the names from, or, hey, maybe I got a few of them wrong. Maybe that's not where they got it from at all. Maybe I was completely misguided. But what figures do you think are interestingly named? What figures do you think were smart? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and Tidy Air Maker out.